Hi, I'm Jay Polaki, and this is the HR Bytes podcast, where HR practitioners share their think globally and act locally digital HR agenda. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's HR Bytes podcast. I hope you're all doing well. Today's guest is Joyeta Samanta. Hi, Joyeta. Can I call you Joy?
Yes, you can. Hi, how are you doing?
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here, Joy. You've been in the HR space as well as on the engineering technology side of things. And so you're like a good mixture for this conversation today. And I'm hoping, we can glean some insights from all your experiences on both sides of the technology and the HR, the HR technology sphere today. So Joy, to begin with, there is so much technology coming at us today in the HR space. And as you know, a lot of us are still grappling with Excel spreadsheets. So how do we approach this new tech, all this automation, and of course, the two-lettered word AI for the HR function today?
Hi, Jay. Nice to meet you, and hello to everybody here. I think AI in HR is an exciting place to be. And I think there's a lot of things we can do with AI across the business, across all parts of the industry. But specific to HR, I would say it's exciting because there are many different use cases for it. I would say, historically speaking, we've used data and analytics to try to transcribe and predict what is going to happen with human behavior and so on and so forth. But now we can do anything from sentiment analysis to trying to not just automate things, but really elevate the HR function to be even more strategic, because a lot of the tactical tasks that we need to do on a day-to-day basis, that hasn't changed, even though our environment has. Those can be definitely automated. Those are things where we can continue to build insights on that help make our day-to-day decisions easier. I would also say it's a practical approach and to consider that amount of data across the employee journey, whether it's from recruitment, whether it's from retaining talent, whether it's nurturing employees, onboarding, engaging across the board. I think there's multiple use cases, and we can only strengthen the, I would say, effect of HR by enhancing and utilizing AI in every possible way.
You've dealt with both sides of the spectrum. You've been on the engineering side, you've been on the HR things. Can you speak to some of the practical ways in which we can integrate new technology into our HR work today?
So, new technology, I think, is always something we do continuous research on in any organization. What is cutting edge? What are best practices as part of our research? When we're trying to integrate new technology into our existing ecosystem in any organization, I think there are a lot of things that come into play. Obviously, security comes into play. How does the data flow between all the different tools that already exist with the new technology coming in, so that there's consistency? And at the end of the day, how do we utilize it? And one of the things, and even in the previous question, I would say, I think when you add HR plus AI, or you add HR plus some level of technology and analytics, you basically get ROI. You can start measuring ROI for what you're trying to do, whether it's employee engagement and collecting data from employees and employee sentiment at that point, or when you're using a recruiting tool and you're trying to stack rank resumes and so on, and the time and energy and the diversity of the candidate background really helps you, I would say, showcase the ROI of all the things that we do on a daily basis.
That's one of the best uses I find of AI in the HR function is where it cuts down the time to say draft an email, or draft a response to an employee question. One of the biggest deficiencies we notice in our work here at HR Geckos is new technology need not be solving world-changing problems. It can be as small as helping you with your email, which makes you happier. And a happy employee, as we know, is definitely crucial for a happy workplace. So how do you think we should keep that human touch, in the midst of all of this technological revolution that's happening around us?
Yeah, I would say it's even more critical in this environment to keep that human touch. And additionally, I would say with the use of AI, you can do customizations for your employees globally across cross-functionally as well, cross-culturally as well. You can nuance things. You don't have to have one size fits all. You can do things at scale, hopefully. And even what you mentioned with generative AI as well, the hope is we can build more inclusion in the workplace across the board. And at the end of the day, continue making like you said, any tool that we implement, we should try and make sure that at the end of the day, the end user, sometimes it's the HR admins, but sometimes it's the employees, have an amazing employee experience at the end of the day. And that is something that I think AI can only enhance throughout the wherever you utilize it.
So the big question, do you think AI will be smarter than humans next year?
Next year? Smarter, sure, but I don't think more empathetic necessarily, which is something that continues to make it might be more knowledgeable. If you can't smarter to define as knowledgeable, yes, than any individual human, sure. But I think the empathy and the human aspects of the job is just even more critical in the world of AI. So that's what I would say.
What do you foresee for the HR function in 2024 and beyond? We always discuss setting HR goals at the beginning of the year. It's April. Yeah. What should we be aiming for HR in 2024 and beyond?
I think how we partner with AI, how do we use it, leverage it to strengthen our organization and make it more strategic, make it more inclusive, make it more scalable, is how we utilize AI. In terms of HR's biggest or most important things that we're trying to chase for, and I hope AI helps us with, is how do we continuously real time measure employee morale and engagement, right? We have so much change happening in the landscape right now, internal, external, in the organization, in the country, so on. But how do we have a pulse on real-time engagement is something I'm hoping that with AI, we're in a year's time, we can get to.
Wonderful. What are you most worried about this year for the HR function in general? And if you had a magic wand, what would be your ideal solution to eliminate this challenge?
I think, and I can speak specifically to what I'm facing currently in my current role and some of the my peers that I talk to, is how do we prioritize across different things that we need to accomplish in HR? We want to be strategic. We want to really help the business forward. But at the same time, there are operational things that we need to do to keep the business lights on, I would say. And the balance between both is something that AI definitely can help with. And I think what's changing real time every single day is no two employees are feeling the same thing and experiencing the same thing, and their needs and desires are changing. And how do you fit, whether it's your total rewards, whether it's your branding strategy, whether it's your learning and development, how do you nuance that at scale? I'm hoping that getting the data from AI, using new technology and tools, being able to prioritize that and drive inclusiveness across the board is something that we're able to achieve.
So Joy, you've been in the HR space for quite some time now, and you've been at the forefront of this, revolution that's happening, for lack of a better word. What's one piece of advice you have for HR professionals who are looking to adopt or adapt to new technology?
I would say embrace it, learn about it, don't be scared. Consider it only something that can add and create value for you. So.
And what do you wish your HR team in general knew to be better prepared for 2024 and beyond?
I think that we're in a world of constant change, and how to build resilience for it, and how to keep continuously learning, have an external focus as well as an internal focus. That is something that we're learning every step of the way to make that balance. Yeah.
So that brings us to the funner section of our conversation today. It's our question connection section. Who is one person in your network, in the HR tech space in the last year, that you think we should all know about and connect with?
So I recently met Hugh Hamirani. I'm hoping I'm not butchering his name. He leads the People GPT community. It's something that he started a couple of months ago. And they're really doing workshops and doing seminars and hosting roundtables, and really talking about how HR can be enhanced with AI, and definitely something I would encourage people to learn and follow if they're interested.
Wonderful. What's your favorite HR podcast or HR related, technology related book?
Ooh, I don't necessarily follow an HR podcast. I read a lot of articles, but I think one of the podcasts that I read a lot is organizational leadership. And also I follow Simon Sinek's podcast about leaders and how to drive leadership across organizations as well. And he has something called optimistic mindset or something of that sort, which is also really positive about how to influence and how to drive and scale behaviors.
We are curating an HR playlist. So what song would you add to this list?
Ooh. I would add, it's going to be fun one. That's a tricky one. I think I could add maybe, I'm going to be stumped for this one. I usually listen to a lot of instrumental music, so I think Freedom by Kygo is a good one. I think, yeah, great. I'll go with that.
We'll put all this in the show notes for anyone who's interested to add that to their so. Do you like working remotely, physically in a specific office location, or in a hybrid setting?
I like both. I like the flexibility of going in and meeting with teams, brainstorming and building a plan together and being creative. But I also like the balance between staying at home and focusing on deep work without having multiple interruptions and so on. And so it's a balance, I would say.
And so, Joy, my last question, how do you enjoy giving back to the HR community? I know you do a lot of community-related work, but specifically for the HR community.
I would say I do two things which I really love. One of the things, and that's my favorite part in HR, is helping people find roles that they've not done before. And I don't mean it just by recruiting. I meant like they've always done L&D and suddenly introducing them to HR business partnering, or they've always done recruiting and opening their eyes and experience to program management in HR, or they've only done people analytics, but how do they translate that to broader people operations? So helping people see different aspects of HR and mentoring people and helping drive mobility within the HR organization at my current organization, but even outside in the community that I meet is something that I really am passionate about.
Wonderful. Well, I'm sure our, listeners have gained a lot of insights from what you've shared today. So if they'd like to connect with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
The best way to reach me is definitely LinkedIn. I usually respond within 24 hours, so that's the place to connect with me.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here today, and thank you, listeners, for joining us. Joy, it's been a joy learning, if I can say that. And I look forward to our, interactions on social and following your insights on social media. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Jay. It was a pleasure. Hopefully, there's something that was helpful and meaningful and encourages people to continue their journey in AI and HR. It's an exciting time to be in HR right now.
Absolutely. I'm so positively excited about everything that's happening in our space. So thank you again, and bye everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Listen on your favorite podcast channels and watch us on YouTube. Follow us on social. We are on LinkedIn, X, Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. Join our budding community on LinkedIn and Facebook. Ask, answer, advise.